That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you gotta buy some headphones.
And we are live for episode 10 here at the Spot Podcast. Been away for a little while, but we're back. Took a bye week, right? Went beyond last week. Took a bye week, you know. Just like every good NFL team, you got to take a week off. Regroup, get ready for the second half of the season. But we're bringing back this will be the first time, too. We have a returning legend, Joe Muoio. He's back on the podcast.
Sucks.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of fun with Joe the first time, so we're happy to have him on here again.
Yeah,
What's
it was
up, dude?
our most viewed episode to date. Yeah. So
Mr.
definitely got to bring
Popular.
that guy back. Yeah, I don't know about that.
With Shark Tank, right?
Shark Tank.
Isn't that what they call the bald guy? Mr. Popular. Or no,
Oh.
Mr. Fantastic?
Mr.
Or-
Clean?
Come on, you guys don't watch Shark Tank?
No, I do. I'm trying to think. I know you're talking about.
I have
too.
no
can't
idea
think
who
of his
you're talking
nickname.
about.
Fuck.
It's the bald guy in Shark. I can't think of his name.
The super rich bald guy, you know?
Well, they're all.
I don't
filthy
really
rich.
watch that. So, but anyway,
You guys watch My 600-Pound Life?
I've seen that before, but not consistently.
My girlfriend makes me watch that shit.
that's a real show.
Yes.
People weigh 600 pounds.
My 600-pound life.
Like sometimes they can't get out. Like they can't move.
And they go to this
You're
doctor in
incapacitated.
Texas, and he's just got the best voice ever.
I weigh the most I've ever weighed. I stepped on the scale yesterday.
You weighed 600 pounds.
234, dude. It's the most I've ever weighed.
How much?
234.
Whoa.
234?
Dude, weren't you? You've been under 200 within the last year, haven't you?
Dude, over the summer I was 197.
That's what I thought.
In August I was 197.
234, all cock.
Dude, I had my boxers on. That was it. I had a pair
Please
of
don't give him
briefs
that
on,
much credit.
and that
Do
was
not
it.
give him that much credit. That's hilarious.
195 of it was my cock. But,
So wow, you're at. What you gained? What, almost 40 pounds?
yeah, but I weighed myself New Year's Eve, and I was 206. So 28 pounds in 7.5 weeks.
I know you've been working out a lot, eating right?
Creatine.
A lot of chicken.
That is all. That's all water.
Oh,
This is
that's
10
why.
pounds of water.
That's why. Okay.
But-
GTO.
But it's
That'll do
never
it,
happened.
yeah.
But it's never happened like this before. Like I've taken creatine before, and it's never.
Still-
It's a bunch of things. It's because I'm working out in a better way,
Dude, I
eating
can't-
better, all that stuff. But 234, I'm fat as fuck. I want to lose 20 pounds.
Well,
in,
you're gonna
in a month
once
or
you
two.
start shredding,
but
right? It's like
yeah,
doing
so-
that.
Do you
'cause you're
GTO?
bulking.
I know someone that has a tanning bed.
My dad tells me I got tan because my acne, and I just refuse to do it. I'm like, fuck that.
Tanning
I'll
would
rather
help.
face the embarrassment of having bad acne at the age of 22 than.
There are dudes
tan.
that do it. I mean,
I know, but I just
it's
don't.
kind of taboo
Sometimes-
though in our society.
I don't know,
Not
does it make
guys
it
tan.
worse?
No, it absolutely kills it. It
No, it
crushes
helps.
It
Like
does?
Me in the summer when I worked at Darien, like I
yeah.
never had any acne at all because it just zaps. It dries your skin right
What
out.
if you took vitamin D?
I mean, I take like a bunch of vitamins, so I definitely.
But specifically the D.
Like there's
Yeah, why aren't you
like
taking
which
the
one?
D-
Like is it
D?
like D2 or D3 or D4? Because you know there's like B12. Like there's like 13 different kinds of B vitamins.
Yeah, that's true. There's a ton.
So I don't know.
Well, no.
But-
Wait. What's the sun?
Vitamin D.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is though. Are there different numbers for vitamin D? I don't
But how
know.
funny is that though, right? Like, isn't it kind of a little weird or taboo when you think of guys like in tanning beds? Like, I feel like it's not nearly as common.
I mean, I don't like.
It's
I don't hate on people that do.
No,
but,
no,
like,
I'm not
I
saying that
just
at all.
don't-
I'm just
I
saying-
don't think that.
I got
I
some
But
want
like,
it.
it's
tan
totally
once.
normal. Did you really?
Fuck yeah. It was
What'd
worst
you-
decision of my life.
What'd you get sprayed tan for?
I was going to Miami, and I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be that super white New York boy.
Most
Instead, I
people-
was that super white New York boy with a spray tan.
I know some people like they go before they go on vacation. Like, I've dated girls that said they went to like a tanning bed and like get like what they call like a baseline like tan, and then they go to like whatever destination. Like we're going to Florida, but it's February. It's like so that way you don't burn. I've heard of that, but that's hilarious. You actually go with like the
Well, I think
the
that
spray
was
tan.
like my legit purpose,
right.
but definitely fitting in sounds cooler.
Getting that vitamin D.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you just smell like shit for a long time. Like it's just the
How
oil.
dark?
I
Did you
probably
take? How long ago was this?
Probably 2 years ago.
And
That's
depending on the
hilarious.
kind you do, like it gets like contagious. Like my ex-girlfriend, like she used to go tanning all the time, but there was like a month or two period where she didn't. She would just get spray tan, and like if I would like touch her arm or something or
You could tell.
touch her body, like dude, I would get shit all over.
Yeah,
me.
greasy.
It was disgusting. I go shower and be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But you know who does need vitamin D, or maybe tablets, are the New York State prisoners.
Oh, here we go.
That is the main topic in our podcast here today. We wanted to discuss a pretty, highly controversial, I would say, because it's hotly debated right now. It's one of the key topics. New York State inmates are all going to be receiving tablets. I think it's going to be, roughly 51,000. I think I saw the stat on CNN. 51,000 inmates will receive a tablet in New York.
Someone, people like to round up, so we'll
right, it's an estimate.
60,000 is fine.
We'll say 50.
Yeah, we'll go with either one. The point is, a fair portion of inmates are going to be getting these tablets, and let's just, I guess, establish what the story is. It's a company called JPay. This is their whole business model, is going into prisons around the country and really creating a way in these tablets where emails can be exchanged between inmates and their loved ones. Money can be sent. They do have capability for ebooks. They can read certain literature books, and they also can listen to music. So I'm not sure exactly how these are distributed. If it's going to be good behavior inmates, if you're in there for life, do you get I'm not sure exactly what the criteria is to get it, or if just every inmate in general is going to get it. But that's pretty much the basic premise. We know that they're all getting that. And this company, JPay, also...
Do you know where they're based out of?
I don't know where they're based out of, but
Florida.
Florida, okay.
They're
I do know that they're in roughly 30 other states according to their homepage.
Really?
That I was reading earlier.
Wow.
It said that they're in roughly 30 other states. It's
Wow.
just now they have a deal. So
not
it's not
all state prisons.
Yeah, no.
That's
in
true.
those states.
Yes.
Because there's private prisons, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Think about the fact that there's private prisons.
Yeah,
That is one of the most fucked up
Dude,
things ever.
You make money on putting people incarcerated.
There's people that are in charge of prisons. Vincent Massidi owns a prison.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yes.
You can own a prison.
You can own a prison in the South. Not up here, not New York State.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
No,
Yeah.
seriously.
That's kind of
Private prisons.
sketchy, right?
Private prison, dude. I don't know anything.
Dude, in
about
some
this.
states, it's 40%.
You
of
have
the-
your
Dude,
business is
I'm
relying
serious,
on people
dude.
committing crimes and
Wait.
getting sentenced to jail. That is what your business is.
So
relying on.
not a state.
That's your
owns
customer.
it, a person.
The state, okay, so how I have my life insurance license,
Yes.
the state,
Or the
through its
county, or
regulations,
the-
yes, it could be the county. That's a good point.
County
but
jail?
whatever local,
Well,
jurisdiction
is
it
that what a private
is.
prison is then?
no, they're not in charge. They give
No, 'cause that's a
the
government,
license,
the
or they
county's
give
government.
So
the
what's it gonna be?
approval.
It's a public prison.
Okay.
They give that
All right,
person the
all right.
approval or the license to do it, and then you gain access to it by doing that. So that's how I compare it to life insurance, because through New York State, I can do life insurance, but I had to earn that license. So what I'm saying is, if that person takes a
You have the
test or
license to own it.
study,
So the
you know.
longest yard.
Yeah, dude. But the warden, the warden.
Yeah.
It's in public prisons too. Attica has a warden. That's what he says goes. But he's got more. He can't get away with as much as someone that's in a
That's
private
nothing.
prison.
I don't
But
know
anyway, that's not what we're
that
talking
shit.
about. That's another time. Yeah, dude. Look into private prisons. People own prisons in Mississippi and Alabama. And
Yeah. But anyway, back to the main point. We're talking about the tablets here on.
Sidetracks
That
are
these
fine
guys-
sometimes.
No, absolutely. That was
that's-
really informative.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
A lot of people
I
don't
would
know
love
that,
to read
though.
about that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
A lot of people don't know that because we don't see them where we are. But that's a very interesting business model. But anyway,
Where were we?
tablets.
Tablets.
So we were
Yeah, I
talking
know, but-
about.
He was just introducing them.
Yeah, I was just basically listing the facts, and really, there's kind of two sides of this coin. Obviously, you either want prisoners to get them or you don't. I mean, I guess you could stand them and be like, I don't give a shit what they get, but
So I guess you can squash the tax thing.
right,
It's not
taxpayers
taxed.
aren't paying for it. Right,
No
this is
taxpayer
not publicly.
money.
Yep,
so you
this is
can
not state
squash
funded.
that. And I don't think there's any loophole where the state could make money. Maybe.
I mean, I don't. think
Because
so.
Was it in
That's-
the contract?
because these tablets were donated for free, so you
No.
can't tax them on the sale of it.
for
You know what I
for
mean?
free.
I read up-
Government
I
can make money.
still think I'm not positive, but I still think they have to pay a portion.
I
of
read
the
up-
tablet.
I read up on that part. So in New York State, they don't have to give anything back to the state. But in some of the other states they're in, they do kick back 10, 15, 20% to the state. But in New York State, they don't have to do that. Yeah, I don't know. When I first heard about it, I did something dumb and I was all in flames about it. I really didn't think about it.
Acted on emotion.
Let my emotions get to me, and we talked about that, and that was super.
It's not like you don't have
dumb.
a reason why emotions would flare up like that. Emotions would flare up. You know what I mean?
There's
there's a reason.
There's validity
to flare.
We're not going to get into that because we know that's a personal thing, but
let's
there's
talk about
credibility.
quick. The reason why they're saying is I had a family member who was close to me that was murdered, and I just said to them, I was like, yo, just thinking of that guy sitting there on his tablet irks me. But that was when I first thought about it. Now that I've thought about it as weeks have gone on, it really wouldn't irk me like to see him sitting there. But anyway, it's not just about him; it's about the other 50,999.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
But I've thought about it, and I don't really know how I feel about it because I can definitely see both sides. And Joe framed it to me in a good way when we were talking about it. I don't get why you're against progress, and I found it hard to respond to that because I was like, how can I say I'm against progress because I'm not like. But that's a good point because
with that said though,
well, you want to try to move in a forward direction, you know.
Well,
you want to try to right the wrongs is if you can make that possible.
That's what I wanted to get into. That was the one big thing I thought I could bring to this. So the reason why I felt like I wanted to be for progress, what you were saying is like we need to move towards rehabilitation instead of punishment, because historically that's how we as society have seen crime, right? Hammurabi's code, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Like you steal from me, I get to steal from you. You kill from me, I get to kill from you. You break my leg, I get to break your leg, like shit like that. And then over time that got, as society went on, like as it got older, that changed to the state, and like a crime was against the king. Like in medieval England, medieval France, medieval Germany, like if you stole something from a local bakery, it was a crime against the state. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the county. It was just against the king, against King Edward III or Elizabeth I. And as, and then the Enlightenment, that kind of changed into, well, we're all a part of the government and we all derive our right to vote because we all belong together and all that stuff. And now maybe we're getting to the point where we can even move beyond that concept of punishment. Or is punishment always got to be involved in these things? I don't know. That's what I kind of wanted to open up. Because that idea of crime and punishment, like I think that's even called a book, Crime and Punishment.
Right.
I might be wrong on that, but I think it is.
I don't know. I've never even looked into it. But
are you touching on like?
Because people that say let me clarify. People that say no, they shouldn't have tablets. They should be punished for what they did. Like, yeah, I mean that's what we've always thought as humans, but. For a long time, we thought germs just came from nowhere. Like we didn't know germ
Let me
theory.
ask this question:
are we getting to a point where we can move beyond?
So we're talking about progress here, right? So, to me, what are the reasons? So how is giving them a tablet progressive? That's what I want to know. What makes giving them this tablet showing progress? That's what I'm confused with.
In so many ways.
List a few.
A few.
Just a few.
I could probably talk an hour. So.
No, I'm genuinely curious. Like
how they can forward progress from this. Well, you got to keep people up with the times. You can't just leave prisoners in the fucking, they got to be up to date with, because they all get out. They all leave prison. So that if you leave them out there and they don't know technology, which is a big part of all of our lives, pretty big part of all our lives, and if they're not caught up with that or don't have any, and they're just thrown out to that, then they resort back to crime.
Right. What about then the ones that don't leave jail ever? Murderers that have like life sentences.
They don't get tablets.
They won't get them, but I think under this they will. That's what I'm asking.
So I'm saying I don't think they should. Like obviously, if these people are in there forever, they have no use for a tablet.
Right. I agree with that.
What about the people like in this?
But I believe under this, what this is going, 51,000. Everybody gets.
That's what they're saying.
Even
no, because
in there. Yeah.
Well,
I have more of a problem with that. I could see the rehabilitation process. Really, I do. If you're coming out, like I'm all for rehabilitation.
I read
more than imprisonment.
I'm not 100%, but I did read an article that stated that to get to some of these incentives on the tablet, you have to do instructional videos, educational videos, like you have to pass things on the tablet to like unlock features.
To even get into what you want.
Yes. So like so there's like you have to be on the tablet educationally to unlock these things, which is positive in that way.
Right.
But it's not like they're getting Wi-Fi and on Netflix and No one, they can't hack. There's no hacking.
How can you not hack it? Because you can see what your dad can do. There's people in jail that can do.
They're not
hacking
it and like getting to the outside world. There's no Wi-Fi on them. There's no, there's no internet connection on them.
I would be interested to see because for me at least, my whole second college degree, we looked at technology exclusively, and I wrote a master's. Like one of my master's papers was actually on cybersecurity. What I'm getting at is anything
is hackable.
Like, and I mean, if somebody really wants to, they can get it. Now, what is their purpose? I don't know. I'm just saying shit can be hacked.
Extent of it is getting hacked?
Like, our elections were hacked. Like, make no mistake about it. There was interference.
No,
like, if you can get into the U.S. government like that, like, anything is hackable. There's people that are skilled enough.
How hackable is a JPay tablet?
I don't know. We'd have to...
I would say probably pretty hackable if that's.
What do you mean?
The key is what type of firewall do they have?
But what can they do with it? I get what you're saying. I get
what
you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But what in it is gonna get you outside of that?
Yeah.
Right.
I think again, it's just people saying they should be punished. They shouldn't be able to see. You go on ESPN or go on Facebook or talk with their family or whatever. And like the music thing, like I don't know, like I mean, music's a huge part of my life. Music relieves so much stress, so I like, I kind of do like the.
And think about your dad's safety. So think about you being in prison without music and how insane you would go.
Yeah.
And then you're just fucking with guards or some shit.
Yeah.
Think about maybe how we can keep them and help them.
But here's something.
And that's the safety of the guards.
But here's something that I thought of a counter to that today, because that's the point I've been trying to get over. And my dad is a CO. My dad's been a CO for 23 years. And I'm not going to say what his opinions are, but he did say that if these tablets keep inmates in their cells and out the hallways and out of trouble, he said he's all for them. And that's cool, but here, and so that's what you were kind of saying, which I agree with 100%. And he knows prisons, like he's been working in prisons since '94. So
you can't find an article where one of these JPays was used as a weapon.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is it does jail when you introduce the tablet, does jail life stop as is? Those people still hustle. Those people still hustle for the money of the jail. They still hustle for the cigarettes. They still hustle for the gangs they're in. Like that's not going to stop them. The gang wars, like that's not going to stop that. It might take a few people out, especially, but like that's not going to stop the hardcore shit. That's not going to stop that. And people don't like, and people, and I'm not saying that I understand anything.
That's probably a small percentage of what we're talking about, though.
I disagree with that. Like, dude, some of these people in prison, like, dude, they fucking stab. Like, if you ever talk,
we can't disagree or agree because we don't have the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm saying that would be my counter argument to that is like, you really think a tablet's going to stop people from wanting to control the cigarette supply in prison? And people are like, oh, you can't do that. My dad said if you take Attica Prison, it's literally like you take the city of Batavia and throw a wall around it. Like anything can happen at any time. Like one time he was just walking around a corner and he was with another CO and he walked out, and it was the only time he ever got like hurt. He had to get taken out in an ambulance, but he was walking around and some inmate was hanging on the bars and jumped down on my dad and like kicked him in the face, knocked my dad out. And like there was another CO there, and he like subdued the inmate. But like anything can happen there. Like there's still power moves that are going to be made there, especially by the gangs. Like they don't fucking forgive that shit, man. And yeah, some of the people in prison are good people, but some of those people are stone cold killers, dude. Like murderers that don't give a fuck. My dad.
They probably don't get to leave jail.
Yeah, they do.
The stone cold killer murderers.
Yeah, dude.
Get parole.
The dude that killed my uncle is probably going to get out in 25 years. He's got 25 to life. He's probably going to get paroled 25 to 30 years. For sure.
Okay, well, I guess what you're hitting on has nothing to do with the tablets.
It has everything to do with the tablets.
The fact you're pretty much giving up hope that these people are criminals for life.
No, I'm not. No, not all of them are. Some of them will hands down benefit from the tablets.
What he's probably also saying,
but what I'm saying is, don't be optimistic in saying that everybody's going to change. Is going to make everything better because you're not going to stop prison life. But some Democratic, I should say Democrats. Yeah, but some people with a more liberal point of view on this say that will happen. I'm just saying that's the counter argument.
Prison culture, I don't believe.
A small percentage, doesn't it work?
Yes, but I'm just saying the counter argument to what you were saying, that it's going to make everything safer. And yes, it will, but it's still going to be a thing.
Yes, and my argument back is even if it helps a small percentage, doesn't it still help? Or do you not get them and you just no progress and you still get those obvious? I know what you're saying and I agree. Some people are just they're gonna be involved in crime all the time.
Yeah,
and a lot of people you can't stop that. But if it helps a small percentage, then it's at least it's helping a small percentage instead of not doing anything and gaining 0%.
Yeah.
Okay, so the small percentage it would help, right? That would probably be percent of the population that's proactively trying to rehabilitate themselves, right? Like they want to be a better person. Like that's their prerogative. Like because why else would it work if you don't want it to?
You know who shows incentive to try to get
but
better.
Then, my whole thing is if you're going to take that initiative, you'd be doing that even without the tablet. It's not like there isn't resources already there. Now, I get it. The tablet can help, and I'm just saying it's a valid counter argument to say, hey, I mean, you were going to read a book anyway. It just won't be an ebook. You would still be getting
it's almost
money.
more personal, though. Yeah. So I don't believe that it's giving them luxuries. Maybe some of these guys are watching their back in the library, and they can't just sit in their cell and read a fucking book.
That's what I'm saying. That's just not going to change. Some of it will. But
how do you know?
Because it doesn't. It's been proven.
Know,
like it doesn't.
J-Pay said that.
It
like it's in the article.
Why would J-Pay? No. Like
you read
in
this
prisons,
in an article?
like in prisons.
You read this in an article. This is fact.
What?
What you're saying right now?
What I'm saying is that we will see. No, I'm just saying that's the argument. Like, think of human nature.
You just said you guarantee.
I guarantee.
You said
what?
you know it's not going to change. It's not going to change. How do you know that? You don't have any facts for it.
I'm agreeing. I'm just playing.
We
devil's
also,
advocate.
but at the same time, we don't have evidence that this will
advocate.
work either.
You're saying I guarantee it's not changing.
Okay. Do I think that all bad things in prisons are going to stop? No, that's all I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you that it is going to help.
Bad things happen in prison. But bad things don't happen because of the
You're taking this personally and saying that I'm commenting on what you're saying. I'm just saying what the whole argument in general is saying because we're trying to have a bigger scope of this.
So far away from the J-Pay.
We're not on the J-Pay part right now. We're talking about the whole concept of it. I thought that was like.
No, I know, but
isn't that what a conversation is?
Yeah, I get it.
Let's get back to the conversation.
Anyway, so I mean, I'm hearing what I hear what you're saying. You're trying to talk to it from the point of like you're getting these tablets, but the actual culture of prison itself won't change as a result of this, which I agree with. What it will make
I also agree with.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with that. But I see what you're saying at the same time too. It's going to help with some.
Obviously, there's going to be crime still.
Right.
I'm not saying a J-Pay is going to magically make everything better and everyone's going to be in La La Land happy. Obviously, criminals go to a place where they're contained, and there's still going to be crime. But if there's something that we can implement that is maybe futuristic that can help, that is technology, why would anyone be against that?
Yes. No, and I agree with that, and I told you that like when I started this conversation is that at first I didn't agree, but the more I've thought about it, the more I've come to see, yes, that is 100% right over the last 2-3 weeks.
And
to me, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. To the universe, I don't know. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, that's the debate, right? that's what
I mean,
that's the debate. Is it right?
I guess the real debate, though, is who's getting them and who's not getting them and who gets to choose. Yeah. So that's really the hard thing to say is like, obviously, there's probably a bunch of us that say, hey, these people rape kids. Anyone that touched a fucking kid, fuck your tablet. Like, fuck your tablet.
Right.
We'll shove it in your ass sideways, tablet. No tablets. Like, but how do we make that happen? Right. You know,
it's just I'm under the impression, at least right now, I would like to see further what they're gonna do with them. But it seems right now that they all get them, and that's where I have the problem with the issue. I agree that if you're gonna get out and be if you're using it for legitimate purposes, those people, they can have them. I'm not opposed to that, because they're using it for what it should be intended for, which is progressing. Yeah.
Because
we're trying to rehabilitate your life, and is what I mean by progressing.
And see, this is maybe another like sidewinder you can go is, and I asked Zach this the other day. So when you go to prison or jail or whatever, you know, the culture or it is punishment.
Mm-hmm.
So the argument is jail and prison punishment, or is it like, should it be rehabilitation, or an in between? Somehow can we get in the middle of both, or you know, like, because you know, a lot of these people get to leave,
right?
So if it's punishment and we
grow
them,
do leave. I wonder how many do.
Oh, dude,
most
a lot.
Most people that go to jail get out. Just think about it, like. Okay, what are the people that go to prison?
That's because of rehabilitation, because you're not rehabilitating them.
I agree.
So if you harvest them with hate, and then they get released, so they go back out here with all this animosity towards the people that locked them in there and kept them in these cages, and give them any opportunities, and then they're shot out into the real world where they're not allowed to have jobs. No one will hire them. They don't know technology. So and then you're harvesting and you're growing more dangerous criminals.
At the same, and I don't say this, but some people on the other side say, and it is true actually, that some crimes, I'm not saying even a large percentage, probably a minute percentage, but some people do commit crimes just to go back to prison because they had 3 squares a meal a day.
It's comfortable.
Roof over your head.
Would you rather be
but now you're getting a
homeless
tablet. Right. Like that's what that group of arguments say. Now they're getting a tablet.
Well,
like what do we spend on the average inmate a year? Like it's like $50,000.
Dude, that's like,
I think it's like $55,000 New York State spends on
that's
its
like
average inmate a year.
millennials just asking for fucking food to get fed to their mouths. It's the same thing. It's easy for them. It's harder for them to get something going out here to shelter themselves and feed themselves. It's way harder. Yeah. So they make it easy. It's the easy route is, well, the way to stay alive and stay like, well, this is my life. I got a life here. I'm just going to commit a crime and go back here. It's because it's too hard out here.
Yeah.
I bet you it's more.
Yeah.
Of a prison out
so
here
that
than
makes
it is back there.
So that's not true. So that makes it right to commit a crime.
No.
That gives that person the prerogative to commit a crime.
Ever said
well, I mean,
that. I never, ever
I mean,
said that.
but that's not right. But even though that is the reasoning behind it, like, I don't think that's. I mean, yeah, you can say people are a victim of their circumstances and people are forced into things.
No, that's my argue for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Is why would you want to do that?
But
I never said that making a crime is okay to go back to prison.
But you were saying that that's their logic, and I'm saying people that are against these tablets are saying, yeah, that's the logic because now we're going to give them tablets. We're going to make it even more luxurious so that they can do these things when people in Batavia don't even have tablets. Like people that have children don't have tablets. Like, you know what I mean? Like people that are trying to get ahead.
Should work a little harder because they're not in jail and buy your fucking kid a tablet.
All right. Not everybody can still make ends meet, man. Like there's a lot of people that work like 40, 50-hour weeks. And
well, that's a dumb argument. Go commit a crime, you can get a tablet.
That's what some people are saying.
It's dumb. That's just dumb.
What they're saying is it's not the end. It's just adds to it. It's just adding to it. That's all they're saying.
It's just reaching. That's what it is. I
mean, you can say it's reaching, but some of the things that they feel you're reaching on. So like I mean, what? So reach. They
may be too pessimistic, but at the same time,
they? You can't talk about they. We don't have they here.
I'm saying they.
No,
people that are
there's
people
forums of people like talking that are not in support of it. I mean, I see what you're saying because there's they and this side too, which is
until you get they sitting right across from me where I can talk to they. Mm-hmm. Then you don't.
So you don't agree that people can have a common platform. I can't say people that agree with this or people that disagree, and I can't speak for them. That's what you're saying.
Unless you're agreeing with them, then are you speaking for them?
No, I'm just expressing what their thought of you because you can study their thought of you and talk about it. I mean, that's what we do all the time.
But that's politics.
That's political science.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's debunked.
Political science is debunked?
No. What we're talking about.
Which part? Oh, the tablet? Like that. What part about?
What's debunked?
Yeah, what's debunked?
What we were just talking about.
Political, like...
No. Before
the common platform. Or before that.
I forget.
All right, we'll move.
All right, so... ahead. I mean, I just want to say that, like I said, at first I was super against it, didn't look into it, realized that it wasn't on taxpayers' dollar, realized that rehabilitation is more important than punishment. At least it should be if we're living today in 2018. And that's all I got to say about it.
My whole thing is I want to know who's going to be able to get one. I'm all for people who are being rehabilitated to have them, but if you're in prison for life, I don't think you should have them. I don't see the purpose.
I would be more open to saying, okay, you get out in 2-3 years. Here you go. There's your tablet, and give them more access than they would have already. Like, give them internet access, do whatever let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, that
Fuck
would
it.
That would
Like,
be
have it monitored, not whatever they want, but
well, you can monitor
more shit than they have now, dude, and make it more accessible for them, dude. Make it more accessible, more concentrated. The last 2-3 years.
No, you can't give them free reign. You got to be on a strict.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can monitor them. You can take my work computer and work and see what I'm doing.
No, what I'm saying is you can't just give them free reign to like whatever they want to research and look up. And
why not? If you want to learn about tigers, go learn about tigers. You want to learn about Lord of the Flies, go learn about Lord of the Flies. You want to learn about podcasts, go learn about podcasts. Go see what jobs are out there. Go see what skills you have. Go see what people that are in your situation are doing. There's lots of things you can look up on the internet. But I get what you're saying. Need to be defined.
Yeah, I mean, again, so that's just my whole thing. I want to know who, like, really, like, who gets them.
Well, I just want to get back to the argument of is prison crime or is it punishment or is it rehabilitation?
Well, and that's why I kind of like.
Well, it is punishment at the same time, but it should be punishment and rehabilitation. I think.
That's why I kind of brought up.
I think it needs to be both because punishment does help rehabilitate.
It
really does.
History of it. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up the history of it is because
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself the question: when someone commits a crime, should they be punished, or should? Because you do need the rehabilitation from the punishment.
You do need
but
negative
should the punishment be like the end? I guess, and I think historically, as we've progressed, the answer's been no.
It depends the punishment though. Like murder, eye for eye. Murder, you fucking should die.
Dude, I honestly would think that like when that like was all going down, I'd be like, dude, I wish they could just
but
like,
if
give
it's
them
like
some.
You know what I think? I have an interest. I don't know how interesting this is, but I've thought about that. And it's weird. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, you know what I think they should have set up in the system? If somebody like killed one of your family members, right? And that person is found guilty, the family should have two choices. They should have the choice of capital punishment, which is the guy's axed, if that would have been a potential sentence, or if the other like sentencing was going to be life in prison without parole. Like basically, you could decide if they were going to get either or. Like why not let the family like get? You know what I mean? If you're going to be in jail for life,
Yeah.
I think.
And you're not going to be able to get out like parole.
I think even leave the family out of it, and that guy should just. If you take a life, I feel I don't.
So you're in favor of capital punishment?
Fuck yes, dude.
Yes.
Here's my thing.
Fuck yes.
Because I'm telling you right now, in my opinion,
we're too fucking
and I'm not even. And this
pussyfooted.
This might be a little radical for some people.
No, be radical.
No,
I like that.
I don't
Radical.
like the whole injection thing. I don't really dig. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. 22 bullet costs about 38 cents for one bullet. Like,
all right. Well, see, that's where I don't give a fuck. I don't care how
I'm saying
they
because,
die,
dude, you spend because this is my argument. Okay, you said someone that's 20, like let's say, okay, the guy that killed my uncle was 20 when he shot him. He was 21 when he was sentenced. Sentenced to 25 to life, with a chance of parole after 25. He'll probably do like 30 years and get out after that. So let's just say 30. Let's say 35 years. Let's say the extent. Let's say 30 years. Fuck it.
Fucking 60-year-old man.
So 30. He's gonna be 51, dude. He just ruined his whole fucking life. 30 years.
See what I want. See, this is me personally.
That's $55,000 a year. Sorry, I wasn't done. I lost my train of thought. $55,000 a year times 30. I don't know what that is. We'll round it up. That's $1.5 million. 38 cents.
Cut costs. Kill that fucker.
That you could do that. See, me personally,
I don't
even
see.
No. Now, me personally, I'd rather see the bastard suffer. I want him to live his whole life.
I'm talking about after.
You're fucked up.
Seriously, if he kills a family member, death's too easy for me. That's too easy.
No, I thought about
I want the fucker to suffer. I want him in solitary
Yeah.
confinement. I want him to suffer every single day until he dies. Because he deserves it. You took a human life.
All right.
That's why I think families should have the option. That's why I think it'd be a cool thing. Like, or you can totally opt out of all and be like, just what the court said they want to do.
I guess his counter. Well, then,
like, I'm cool with capital punishment. I'm cool with that too. I'm just saying, I think you should be able to get a choice. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, not cool.
But
I mean, someone died. Like,
but you're paying for it.
Think about that.
Why would you pay for it?
It's like a baseball bat.
He said $1.5 million.
Well, as a collective people.
Well, for that guy for 30 years.
For
that guy for 30 years.
Right.
At today's rate, inflation, just for inflation,
right?
That's probably.
I mean, they're already. The
million.
point is you're already imprisoning people anyway. Like at that point, that's just another person. Like,
And so this brings up another argument: is too many people in prison.
I agree.
See,
100%
so
with
now
that.
you've got so many people in prison.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, especially in New
York,
how
many states is it legal still capital punishment?
A lot of black people for
you
selling
see that
weed.
One
it's
meme,
kind of messed up.
You see that one meme that America's only number one in like two things, and it's imprisoning people and school shootings.
Well, what happened with the Pax Romana? What happened with the Pax Romana?
It's just ridiculous.
Do you know what the Pax Romana is?
No idea.
Okay, it was quote unquote the greatest time of Rome. It was like from like 20 AD to like 220 AD, and the Pax Romana was considered it was called the Peace of Rome, the best time of Rome. What is Rome now? Ancient Rome, nothing. America's gonna be nothing someday. Someday it's gonna be nothing. Whatever way you look at it, whether nuclear war ends the world, or China takes over, or Russia takes over, or we just all fade away, or the sun blows up. Someday it's gonna be nothing. It's only for the here and now. And I'm not saying it can't go back up. It will. Maybe it will. But at some point, it will be not.
Well, it's just how the course of history shown all major powers drop eventually. It's just how history is proven. It won't happen maybe for hundreds of years from now. We have no idea.
I totally lost the point again. I forgot.
China or Russia is next.
What's that?
Or us.
What the fuck are you talking about?
To be number one in the world. We got it for a long time.
What were we got it for just talking about? I have no idea what we were just talking about.
We're number one for people in prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were talking.
We won't be leading the
number
economy
one
anymore.
in school shootings, which we also wanted to talk about that.
Dude,
which we had talked about the Vegas ones, which.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's fucking fresh.
Yeah, we
should be talked about.
Let's do it.
Everyone should be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
The question is, what's the solution?
Everything is so fucked. Something drastic needs to fucking happen.
Like what though? What do you think?
A drastic change, like, just I don't know what the answer is, but something.
So what's the answer?
Well,
I just told you.
I know, but that's the argument people are saying.
The people collectively, us.
What I say,
something has to change.
This is what I say. I say you put 2 police officers in every school every single day.
You
create 2 jobs. Yeah. You just created 2 jobs.
Come on, I like
you just created 2 jobs for every school.
Well, and the argument for that too is there's
51,000
veterans right now that are unemployed. It's like what one
See,
wouldn't be able to
I love that.
Good job for veterans.
Yeah.
Good job for veterans.
See, that's what I'm saying.
We got to share this podcast because we got to share that idea right there. We started that.
You arm schools depending on the size.
That's been an idea. No,
we're gonna. I know. Well, everything's been an idea, but we're gonna, dude. We're gonna help that cause out because that's a good idea.
Fucking send it.
We're gonna send it, dog.
Hell yeah. No, they really should because my whole thing is this idea of completely banning guns isn't practical at all. Huh? Like I don't you know what I mean? That's what people still keep calling for that.
You know my favorite
Getting
fucking thing
is
when people say that teachers should have fucking guns. That's my fucking favorite.
I did see that one.
I don't think teachers should have guns.
No fucking way.
I agree. That's ridiculous.
That's too far for me. But I do think there should be 2 police, not 1, 2 police officers in every school in the country.
Or some type of, like licensed.
Create security. Give 2 more people a police officer's job.
Yeah, who has?
Do you understand? I've seen so many people share that. Why teachers should have guns?
Yeah, I've seen that circulate too.
Fucking.
Because think about where all these. And this is my thing. Is think about where all these shootings happen.
More guns. Give everyone a gun.
Think about where all these shootings happen. They happen in movie theaters. They happen in churches. They happen in schools. All gun-free zones. They know the people there aren't armed.
Oh, that was my other meme. That was my favorite. They said it listed like what's protected by firearms, and then like school and our children is like no firearms allowed.
None.
All these other places where we protect all these other things. It's like, man, something's got to change, and I think that's a good step. I don't know where the funding comes from to pay the veterans to do these jobs because I'm sure these schools couldn't afford to pay these guys.
Right.
To solve all these issues
I guess
we're ever going to podcast
it's always
about,
money. It's always money. It's like who's going to pay these guys to guard these schools?
You know what needs to happen before anything?
It's simple to me. Public schools. It comes out of the public school budget. They pay for them.
Raise taxes to pay these guys.
Or you can move money around. Like I've looked at a couple of like school districts, like financial stuff. Like there's funds you can pull other stuff out of that you might not even need to like increase You just might have to take it out of something else.
The biggest problem in this country, and these
Or
problems
you could raise it.
all these problems we've talked about on this podcast so far, and
Or you
every
could raise
other
it. Yeah.
podcast,
I think it's worth it. I would pay for it. I'd
fuck
pay for
yes.
and every other podcast in America has talked about.
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to change until the top one. Nothing's ever going to change until the top 1%. That video you sent to me, the top 1%.
The wealth of America.
Like, and people are like, oh, that's socialist. No, the top 1% literally live better than the next 40% combined. Yeah. They own more property than the next, 45% combined. That video was nuts.
Yeah. Well, and they were showing what socialism looked like, and I agree. Socialism definitely do not implement that.
No,
it's too idealistic.
What it was saying was the top 10% live so much better than the bottom 90%.
Yeah. No, it definitely needs to be distributed better. I agree with that.
It stratifies. So then the top 5% are doing so much better than that 10 to 6%. And then the top 2% are doing so much better.
It's pretty cool.
It's like a 6-minute video.
I saw it
and
in
then
my,
the top 1% is even is way more.
I saw in one of
stupid.
my classes, and it's very, very.
But that's what needs to happen. Like the Koch brothers donating all that money to Paul Ryan just because he got that fucking tax bill passed. Like before that, we need to get these fucking people out of Congress. But
how about all the people, all the Congress people accepting all the money from the NRA?
Oh fuck yeah, they are, dude.
That happens too.
Isn't that fucking?
Well, they accept money from the Koch brothers. They accept money from Monsanto. They accept money from alcohol and tobacco.
So
against
I guess
legal
that's
weed.
what I mean. That's what I mean by drastic.
One.
That's what I mean by drastic.
We
it's
need
like
to get
them old. Why do old people run the country? Like, isn't
just how you rise up? I mean,
doesn't
eventually
your
we'll be that
fucking
generation.
brain? I get they're wise, but doesn't your brain run out of fucking new ideas by the time you're fucking getting wrinkly and white?
Just how our system works is how they're elected.
You got
to
you got to bite your wherever you go. You got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues before people give you any power of any kind. It's just how it goes.
But that's gotta change.
That's probably never gonna change.
How would we change that though?
That's human nature.
Yeah,
that's you gotta do some fucking lobotomy shit because that's
how
everybody's
head is. Once you're up there and
dude.
we're that age and you get that power, you're gonna
want
to
even
release
get in a
shit.
lobotomy with me, bro.
Oh, those are terrible. But anyway, no. But seriously, think about it. Once we're up at that age and we do it, are you gonna really want to relinquish that power to people that are younger until you feel like you're ready to give that up?
Our generation.
I'm saying
I'm saying brutal greed. It's
I'm
just
saying
nature.
Steve Jobs' age.
40s. Our generation can change things.
Rest in peace, Steve
but he
Jobs.
was also a genius. He was also one of those people that just capitalized on the right time. Donald Trump capitalized at the right time. Like people capitalize. You know what I mean?
And he always thought about being president. Like he always showed interest, but it was never until, and this is because of some other podcasts I listened to, is Obama at that one meeting called him out and said, one thing I am that you'll never be is the president of the United States.
Oh, and Mike dropped him?
Yeah, and so that's probably what drove fucking Donald Trump to become the motherfucking president.
He's flirted with the idea, though. In the 90s, he flirted with the idea, too.
I don't think he wants to be president. I don't even think, dude, because he probably had a fucking awesome life before.
Well, we'll see if he runs.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, he had plenty
He
of
might
money.
not. I mean, we'll see, though. If he reruns, if he runs for it
least,
again, then it would say that he did. If he doesn't, then I would agree. Be like, fuck, maybe he didn't want to be it at all. We'll see if he runs again in, what is it?
Yeah, how crazy is this Mueller thing? Mueller just indicted 13 Russian nationals.
Yeah, I saw that.
Can you guys clarify this for me?
What's up?
Did Obama kill the most amount of innocent people in U.S. history?
With drones? 100% yes. By way more than Bush. That's true. So true.
Isn't that fucked?
And that's one thing that Trump has stopped. And that's one thing Trump has stopped doing is drone. Dude, Obama killed way more people than people.
And what's that oil? The Native American, what's that thing called?
Dakota Reserve. Obama could have stopped that.
The pipeline.
But he stalled it until it.
But he could have stopped it.
Yes,
he
could
have
put started it.
He could have turned the car off.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't.
People blame Trump.
I'm not fucking supporting Trump or anything. Yeah. I'm not humping Trump.
No, we're talking about Obama.
Yeah,
we're talking about Obama. We're not talking about Trump.
You can dislike both. You can dislike both.
It gets laid on the fucking following guy.
It always does. Like when Obama,
dude,
a lot of the successes Trump is having, make no mistake about it, was because of the regime before.
Shot with drones, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Bush had, it was Clinton had the most, then Bush had even more, and then Obama had even more.
How do we get these people out of power?
Gotta vote them out.
It's gotta be our. You know what it is? We gotta get rid of the Democratic, Republican two-party system.
So radical, where we just all of us point guns at them and say, "Get the fuck out of there."
We'll get fucked.
we'll get fucked.
The police and the army, and yeah.
It's not the 1700s.
Yeah, but what
we can
if
have a
those people
revolution.
We got to get rid of the fuck it. We got to get rid of the
they got
Democrat
way more
Republican system.
ammo.
We got to get a third party in there.
Oh, I want to rewind really quick. I'm gonna rewind really quick.
All right, what's up? All right, rewind.
Back to prisons,
Okay, what's up?
and I really want to talk about this because I want to hear your point of view.
Okay.
Back to trying to resolve the issue of it being rehabilitation and punishment. Isn't there already an issue? There's already tension between guards and prisoners. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't that kind of culture have to change? I know it's been it's been ingrained probably in COs, but I know a few COs. And I've known these COs before they got their badge. Before they got their badge, and this is on a few accounts. Like I'm not even singling anyone out. This is like I'm not a couple. I can get a handful of them where they were like a totally different person after they got the badge.
Yeah, it changes you.
Isn't that wrong? Isn't that like step one bad?
Like my dad, when he first started being a CO, like his first 2 years, like when he would go to church with my mom, they had to sit in the back of the church because he didn't want anybody behind him.
Oh, that's an Italian thing, baby. I always gotta sit in the. I gotta
Nah,
sit in
yeah,
the corner. I gotta know
if you
what's
grew up
going
in the
on.
mob, maybe, but no, I know what you
Right.
mean.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
paranoia,
And that's it's paranoia, and I agree with that. And it's good and bad things. Like I know guards do bad things to prisoners, and I know prisoners do bad things to guards. Like I know prisoners have stabbed guards. Like my dad's friends have been stabbed. My dad got cold clock, knocked out, booted in the face. It's happened to his friends. People get chairs thrown on him.
Like, doesn't that relationship? I don't know. Like, that's probably got to be one of the hardest cultures to try to change. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
how do you change that?
obviously you're dealing with criminals and stuff, but you already have COs going in there like ready to fuck shit up.
Well, it's just because again, you're dealing with people like that. It's not like that. It's not like a CEO wouldn't have had that because of previous experience, like throughout time. Like prisoners, they fight them. I mean, you have to develop that mindset if you're even surviving there.
And this is from other people.
You got to realize, like stone cold killers, like your biological makeup, like your psychological makeup is different. Like you have to understand that. Like they do. Okay, so I'm going to actually quote a study.
Ticks.
According to Dr. Paul
off.
Ekman, which is a renowned psychologist out in the San Francisco area, he's done a lot of great things that I'm interested in, but specifically he had a study that he did on psychopaths. And what he found in this study through reading people's faces and understanding human emotions is that they literally think oppositely of us. For example, a psychopath, a true psychopath, would get, like, for example, you see a baby, like, smiling, right? Like your first initial reaction is like smile, it makes you feel happy.
Cute baby,
yeah,
I want to kiss it.
It makes you happy. Whereas an inmate, or not an inmate, I shouldn't say an inmate, a psychopath thinks the opposite. That repulses them. Their biological, or literally it's reverse. And this is quoting real psychology. Like I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Paul Ekman has said this.
Yeah.
He did this through
No
studying human
shit.
faces and seeing what their emotions are, because he can tell
But
just based on your body language and your face what emotion you will be feeling.
Tell
It's
him
called
about
a micro expression. But anyway, that's a different topic altogether.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
But anyway, so
awesome.
he said that, right? But now when they showed the same picture to a normal, what they would consider normal human psychology, a normal human brain, they looked at like someone being chained up, like whipped, like just bloody, like something disgusting, like that would
and
you wouldn't wanna look
excited
at.
them.
And to normal people, you're repulsed by it, you cringe, maybe just like, gee, you know what I mean? There's some
intrigued.
shock or some fear or some, disgust. But to them,
I'm puking, bro.
quite the
Puking
opposite.
I'm like,
not only were they happy by seeing that, they were aroused by it.
I was gonna say,
they
they
showed
probably
arousal. They get off on it.
Yep.
Like seriously.
Well, and
that's
that
how fucked up people like. So there's those people in those prisons too. Like it's like, dude.
And there are those people, and
like you can't like that. What I'm saying, my point to that is those type of people also exist in prison, and they're gonna be the ones that are always gonna fight COs. Like those are the ones.
I know.
That watch their
Does
back.
that mean we outlaw all BDSM? Or what is
What's
that?
BDSM?
Or what's the fucking whips and chains shit?
Oh,
Or what's the acronym for that shit? Fuck, I forgot. I said it totally wrong.
yeah, I'm trying to think.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The fucking, like, you get chained to that one giant wheel and they spin. Oh, then there's straps and some chicks just.
Where you been hanging out?
Yeah.
I want to start hanging out with you, boy. What are you doing tonight? Let's go there. That sounds like fun.
It's a movie I watched.
But no, man, like there's
what
a
I'm saying is
CEO.
those are the ones CEOs
Yeah.
I gotta look out for because there's just nothing changed in that person. I mean, you could try and put them in pills. You can hope to God they actually go to clinics, not to like they're declared insane and go to like actual psychiatric wards. Those are where you hope those people go. But there's plenty of those that are in.
My biggest thing with prisons is like, and
Those
I don't
are
know,
the guys
it's
we
hard to
look
control.
for.
Is like the gangs, like
That
I know a CO
gang
who
stuff.
retired, but before they retired, like they had a problem with some of the Bloods in the prison they were working at, like the gang,
How
the
do you
Bloods,
break up that culture?
and he got a letter to his house one day, like and it was addressed to him and his wife, and it used their first names, dear blank and blank, and then the rest of it was all like cut out letters from news magazines and red, and it said, I hope you have it was around Christmas time, I hope you have a very red and bloody Christmas, like it's gonna be the last Christmas you ever have with your family. Yeah, like we're gonna fucking show up, and yeah. And they signed it like the Bloods, like all in red. Like those things, and you know what I mean? Like they're just, I was just saying that story to like cater to your point that like, yeah, some of these people are just
Christ.
bad people. Like just
I'd be freaking
bad,
the fuck out if somebody said
just
that.
bad people. Like, can you
I
imagine?
don't think anyone disagrees with you.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
some people don't realize that. Like some people don't realize, like, and people.
Yeah, but
you don't want to be too
what I'm saying is people
optimistic
give
either.
what
You want
the
a
reason
healthy amount.
the
You
reason
can't be
why
too
I'm
optimistic
saying
that
this.
everyone's gonna change.
The reason why I'm saying this is because, and they do, and they should do the right thing. But like police and like CO, and I'm not saying blue lives matter, black lives matter, all lives matter. I really believe that. But like cops and COs, like they deal with a lot of like crappy people sometimes, and like they kind of get blamed for it. And like that would have an effect on you too sometimes. Some people are wrong in how they act, absolutely, and some people abuse power, absolutely, 100%. But some people, it's like I don't know, man. It's a tough spot. Like. You talk to some COs that have been in some situations, it's like, I don't know how I would respond. Like,
I think we can all agree that there needs to be some sort of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Right? You can't release criminals and just expect them to be better.
The key for me is
any
the
help.
inmates gotta want to be rehabilitated. Because if they don't want to, it's not gonna matter. It's like if you're in school, you want to learn, you're gonna learn. If you don't want to learn, you're not gonna learn. Like it's all a mindset. So if the person genuinely wants to change, like again, this plays into human psychology.
Yeah,
if they
but
genuinely want to,
us
then
on
yes,
the
this
other-
is a perfect thing.
Us
for
on
them.
the other side of the fence have
Right.
to try. We have to at least try.
I agree. I just
Nothing
think
hurts in
to
trying.
me it just depends on who. But I agree. I think certain people should be given the chance. But
And that's
I'm not in favor
I
of
guess
everyone
that's
getting
the
one. That's my
hardest
part.
thing to do is
Right.
to determine who
Right.
does. It's like, are you gonna go to everyone and be like, "Hey, you want some help, man?" Nah, man. I'm gonna go rob your ass later. Like,
Right.
or yeah, dude, I do want some help. Like, I just got caught up in some dumb shit with some dumb people.
Right.
Which I wish we could get the numbers on that.
Yeah.
Is how many people are like in prison because of like some petty shit or some like stuff that could be like, and how I want to know the gang related population. I guess
Right.
I would really love. I wish I would have.
it depends on the prison.
Yeah.
No. I'm not saying
Yeah.
like even prison to prison. I'm saying as like a whole.
No, I know what
want
you're
the big
saying. Yeah,
picture.
yeah. No, it's a good point. I never really
I mean, you even see
thought
prison
about that.
documentaries.
But there's a
like,
lot of like in New York State. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
gangster.
black guys that are in
Yeah,
prison
I'm
for
sure,
selling
I'm sure, I'm
weed.
sure.
That
Yeah. Oh, okay.
just
yeah,
for selling weed.
All right.
like,
yeah.
It's like, and it's like a huge proportion compared to like white males, and it's like that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
That's actually not kind of messed up. That is messed up.
Well, any type of racism or discrimination, yeah, it's always terrible.
Except against Italians.
You're Italian too.
Yeah, we're all Italians. We're all Paisans. Right?
But yeah,
that drives me wild too. Is how it's 2018 and people still are like racist and
yeah, that's,
Oh, yeah.
that's
I
fucked up.
just
yeah.
man, it's just like we're so developed as, at least in America, we're so developed as like technology.
Yeah, we've
in
advanced in many ways, but
It's
not
just
through
so
that. Yeah.
hard that
Let's put
it's
this-
so hard for me to put in my brain that some people can't make their brains be like, we're all in this together.
That
We're
and
all human
healthcare.
beings. Yeah,
That
we're
and
all
Like
healthcare.
if you want to get super fucking
all living
hippie,
organisms, yeah.
we're all on a fucking planet living on this floating fucking thing
Right.
in the universe. Like,
I don't know. Think about whatever.
But
we
I
are,
guess. But oh man,
what is?
I'm gonna get
let's
deep
get hippie
because we're all fucking animals.
Let's get hippie.
So you're gonna have animalistic fucking
features.
Yes, like we started as a pack of probably fucking.
But it's that life feature, right? Because anything that's organic has a will.
We're just savages.
Anything that's organic
Humans
has a will
savage.
to adapt. The grass and the trees are going to adapt. Trees grow around fences that are too close all the time. Living organisms adapt. But whatever that life force is, it exists. And simply because it exists, you should enjoy it because it exists.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What is and what isn't. Like, don't enjoy it. Like, people say, and I do this all the time. People say, oh, I wish I had that, or I wish I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. Always thinking of how their life could be different. It's like, but it's not different, so just enjoy what is because that's all that is. So that's all that really matters.
It's true.
And that's so easy, but that's so hard to comprehend. And I have to remind myself all the time.
And there's a fine line between it, too, because you also don't want to just only be happy and only be satisfied.
No,
yeah.
To
be better.
No. I'm talking about being...
So there's a fine line.
What I'm saying is having gravity in yourself to propel yourself through your life. That's because that's what growing up is, right? Finding gravity and finding the person... something that you're comfortable with.
But also carrying yourself and respecting others. And I think,
I agree.
Advance in your ways and try to achieve your goals. But I think everyone should at least try to, I understand that there's always going to be competition and you're going to try to have to one-up somebody to get to the spot that you want to get to. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't have to do that in an evil way. And I just think you should just try to do... I don't know. Do I believe in karma? Probably. I just don't think. I believe in paying it forward, and just trying to be good to as many people as you can, treating everyone with the same respect until they disrespect you, obviously. But
I believe in karma in the sense that bad people or people that do bad things continually put themselves in bad situations, and eventually one catches with them, vice versa. Sure. Good people continually put themselves in good positions or good situations. And things click for them. So I don't really believe, me personally, I don't believe karma is an entity, like karma's a thing, but I think karma is definitely a principle that happens. Like,
I agree with both points. I do. I think, obviously, if everybody had that mindset to just treat everybody with respect, everything, it's a whole to nature versus nurture. Like, sometimes you grow up.
What's the con to that?
To what, treating people right?
Yeah.
I don't see any.
No, really.
Only if you take
you get all these things.
Try to think.
Well, here, I'll tell you about
You're
this.
too happy?
You get all these things.
Everyone's too... No, really. What are the cons to someone if we all try to have respect for each other and we all try to treat each other equally? Like, what could be a con? Like, I'm trying to think. I'm asking myself, too. Like,
the only thing would be if you could get taken advantage of being too kind, being too...
True.
Yeah, and that does happen.
Well, that's
sometimes.
why, and that was a point I was going to make. There was and I highly recommend you read it. It's a book called Give and Take, like how it's by Adam Smith, but it's called Give and Take, right? And what he says is there's 3 types of people he saw in like the business world: givers, takers, and like people that did a little bit of both. And what he say, people who give would be people that exactly that, treat everybody nice, treat everybody with respect, just do things for the purpose of being a good person. There's takers, which would do the opposite. And like he's saying in the workplace, they'll only like engage with you really if they want something from you or if they have nothing to gain by it in a deal, they won't do it. And then he says then there's people that are a little bit of like both. They're doing really well at like giving, but at the same point, like they have like that guard just in case they aren't taken advantage of. And he actually said that the givers were the ones that succeeded the most in the business world. He said more than you'd think. He said in certain aspects, like and I really think you should read it. It's an interesting book, but it goes
Give and Take by Adam Smith.
Yeah, Give and Take.
Wait, like Adam Smith, like 300 years ago?
No,
like
no.
the dude that came up
with
with capitalism?
It's called Give and Take. I'll look it up. I might be fucking up the author here. I'm probably fucking up the author.
Adam Smith? That sounds super familiar. So
yeah. No, it's but it's an interesting. I'm gonna read it in one of my classes. Yeah,
be good to people. That's like why. That's why I don't get like some Christians that like have certain values. Like in this country, like some ultra Christian, like right wing, like Jesus. If you look at some of the shit Jesus said, like I feel like Jesus like came from the '60s out of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Just like love. Just give me some. Just give me some love. Dude.
Very religious.
Like, but that's their religion that they're like, oh Jesus Christ, my Lord.
Dude.
Not
But anyway.
Not the shit on people that have religion.
If I just could end this on a good note.
Okay.
And I just wish that everyone could coming to a crossroads with people with an open mind. It just helps us all try to get on the same page. I know it's so hard to not act on emotions.
Of course.
Because it's obviously that first glance. But just to have an open mind and to be able to talk and listen and to be able to hear people, I just wish it upon all of us that we could just, because I just think that itself would resolve a lot if we could all just, and I guess that goes back to respecting each other, but, under circumstances,
obviously,
you lose respect for people, but as long as we can all keep an open mind and try to talk things out instead of, people hanging
in a perfect world, that would be.
Yeah, but we don't live in.
That would be my last question.
It's an ideal.
We don't live
on
Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I encourage that. I try to live that.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And that's
that would be nice.
That would be my end note. And dude, I had a fucking awesome time.
It was a good podcast.
It was a good
It
podcast.
was an up and down. There was some
debates,
good emotions.
some laughs.
Fuck you, Joe.
All right,
we're
guys.
gonna fucking roll after this.
Yeah,
on
the hardwood floor.
Shout out to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
but yo, thanks for coming back.
Don't forget,
it was good to have you, man.
What, 225?
No, 234.
234 all cock. Okay, don't forget.
No, it's like 175 all cock.
I agree.
All right.
Signing out, episode 10.
Deuce.